Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Zoom. These are in hot demand, and I am so happy that you have joined us. I have Dr. Alicia Clevenger on with me as well tonight, so you're going to hear from both of us. And we're excited about our new product, more than excited. I've never been a part of a product launch such as this, where the demand is so high. So high. And I'll share a little bit about it. They launched this product January 10th, and it was in Fort Worth, Texas. We had no idea this was coming out. No idea at all. And when I was introduced to it the night before, I thought, well, this is awesome because I'm a peptide girl. Like I love the peptide world. I'm in it, and I this is really great. And I thought this, being very transparent with you all, I thought in theory this is great, sure. And then I go, where's Dr. Dan? Where's the science? And once he took the stage the next day and he shared the science, and I was like, okay, this is outperforming the semaglutides in the clinical study. That's impressive. And then people started using it. And we're one day one results, day two results. I mean, constantly results have been pouring in since they launched it. People have ordered it. The people that have gotten it are sharing their results. I shared some you may have seen before I came on live. And more people are sharing it. People are waiting on their shipments. They're going out. The pre-launch inventory quickly ran out. It just flew. It flew. That's how popular this has been. And they're fully restocked. They're shipping. So know that. And we are excited to be on with you right now. So I'm going to go ahead and have Dr. Alicia come on with me. And we're going to get into this. So Dr. Alicia, welcome. And
Hello.
she's in her home in Iowa. I'm in Arizona. Little different weather, both of our places.
Yeah, just a
Yep,
little bit.
just a little bit. And with you having a natural healthcare background and
Yeah.
really specializing, she's a chiropractor that has specialized as her diplomat in nutrition and pediatrics, and this is her jam. This is it. And with knowing all that you know and what you've seen so far with this product, I want to hear. I want to hear
Yeah.
what's on your mind with it. I want to hear results that you're excited about, all of it.
Yeah. Well, I did like you when it first came out and they jumped on and they said, here we are. I thought, well, a lot of people have tried this. What's different about it? Right? Because that's really the truth. There's so many people who have tried different things. A lot of people try to stimulate the body to make its own GLP, different things like that. And when I heard the science, this hits the same receptor and has the same mechanism of action as the synthetics. I leaned forward like, okay, tell me more, right? Like now you've got me. And the science is really legit. That's my thing. I've been looking at working with supplements and in this industry for almost 25 years, and I love everything about it. But I will tell you, the world we're in is looking for something like this, right? And there are synthetic options out there for people, and you're going to hear why you would even want to look at what is GLP. We're going to talk about that. Why are people talking about it? Why is it a buzz? Why are people taking it? We're going to hit on that. But the truth is that there's some barriers to that for some people, whether it be side effects or cost. And so when this was offered as a natural option, that's a home run for me. And the science is clear. This is working. And we looked at the studies right out of the gate. And now we're seeing it work, just like you said. And I'll tell you, it's working for myself. I'm about 2.5 weeks in. I'm down 6 pounds. I can tell it in my face. I can see the inflammation. I can tell the difference in inflammation. And it's so fun because I'm getting these texts every day now that are saying, I'm noticing change. I got one this morning. She is perimenopausal weight. It's really been a struggle for her for a few years. And she said, I'm down 4 pounds. There's nothing that's gotten me down 4 pounds. And this is just in a week for her. And she's like, but my inflammation is way less. My shoes are fitting better, like those kind of things. And that's real life. That's what people are looking for. I think for a long time we have felt that, well, exercise harder, eat less, but that's just not the story. And when people realize that's not the story, or I'm seeing people that wear continuous glucose monitors saying my blood sugars are down 7% in a week. I'm hearing people say, I've been drinking Diet Coke, not me, I don't drink Diet Coke, but Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi for 40 years, and I've quit, right? Because there's a dopamine it's part of the dopamine receptor. It actually really cuts those cravings and some of that addiction. So, and there's science behind that. And so, that's what I love is seeing all these people saying for the first time they feel heard. And for the
Mhm.
first time, they're feeling like this might be what will work for me. And we're seeing people with those results. And pretty easily for the most part. Like, yeah, they're not home eating pizza and cheese sticks, right? Like fried cheese sticks, but they're able to make better choices and much easier than it was before. And I just think it's absolutely phenomenal to watch.
It is phenomenal.
What have you
And
noticed?
yeah, I know.
I know, I
I
can't
did.
wait.
So I did have pizza my first day on it. And I did see the scale go down. I ate less of it though, less of the pizza. And what I've noticed being in this world and using this one, the scale it's so awesome. I've tried everything, you guys. I've had a metabolic issue probably my whole life and didn't know it because we don't know. We call it genes, we call it, oh, it's my thyroid or oh, whatever. And it's so hopeful to see the scale go down if you're in that situation where you want to see it go down. And it doesn't take these strict diets. It doesn't take, I love exercise, you guys, and I am so disciplined when it comes to a diet, and it's just hard. It's an uphill battle, especially with the perimenopause. I'm 48 years old. I don't know if I'm in that or not, but it sure feels like it could be at some points. I want to blame it, even if I'm not. And I'm sure there's a piece of that. And so it's an uphill battle. So slimmer face for sure. I shared the other day, I love fasting, like intermittent fasting, and this makes it simple. I mean, the other day it was like almost 2 o'clock, and I was like, "Oh, it's time to eat." Normally, I'd be muscling to get to that 2 o'clock. Like, don't eat, don't eat, don't eat. Drink more water, do something. Okay, so enough of us. Let's get into the GLP wave. We want to really educate. We love to educate, as there's power when you have confidence with, okay, I understand it a little bit more. Okay, and so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and share our slides. I shared these results prior, and you could see you guys, I could have 50 slides of three results all over, all over, all over. We're seeing these results every single day. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Alicia and have her start so you all can follow along.
Yeah. So I touched on the problem. And, if you've been on the internet or social media, who hasn't, you've seen the pictures of the beaches. Like they showed this picture of the beach in 1970 and they show the picture of a beach in 2025. And we just inherently look different, right? And they didn't just go find a beach with 1,000 people on it that don't have any willpower, right? Like that's not what they did. We have a problem and it's called a metabolic problem. And it goes so much more beyond weight. Like some of these things we're seeing right out of the gate are weight related, and people are loving talking about this. But this product that we're going to talk about today, this GLP-3, this product is a metabolic regulator, and it goes so much more beyond just weight. So how we got here and where are we at? So GLP, it's everywhere. Unless you've been living under a rock, you have heard of it. And so the question is though, why is it such a big thing all of a sudden? Like why do people quote unquote need this? Why are they wanting this? Well, we live in a world where we have a food supply that is actually not very good. Between stress, ultra processed foods, high fructose corn syrup, that's a huge one, hydrogenated oils, pharmaceuticals, lack of sleep, like all of the world we live in, our modern world, we have damaged a part of a receptor that's part of our metabolism. And that's one of the biggest reasons. It's not the one of, it is the biggest reason for this metabolic issue that we have in this country. So when this is a little sciencey, and so I'm just going to ask you because there are some people here who want to hear why. And so if you're like, I don't care about the science, I just want the results, just bear with me for a minute. But I really want, when you understand how this works, you're like, oh, like I want that. Like it really does make sense. And so remember how I said that we have a receptor that's damaged? Hold on to that thought, okay? Like just hold it over here. All right, so every day, it's probably evening where you're at if you're on here with us live and you ate some food, maybe just had dinner. And after you eat that dinner, your blood sugar starts to go up. your blood sugar starts to go up. It's in your bloodstream and it's going to go and it's doing its job and it has to get into the cells. Like that's the goal. Your cells need glucose. Your cells need that sugar. So to help drive it there, your body's going to make something called insulin, and the insulin is going to help drive that into the cells. But over time, because of the foods we've eaten and the receptors that we've damaged, our cells become something called resistant. So you might have heard the term insulin resistant. People talk about that. Well, I'm insulin resistant, or I have PCOS. There's insulin resistance. And what happens with that is then that sugar that is out in the bloodstream starts to store as fat. When the sugar stores the fat, then we don't feel great. Okay, it builds fat, it stores fat. And so it becomes this vicious cycle where we eat and then we spike and then we crash and then we crave and then we repeat it, right? So I want you to imagine, if you will, a house. And so you have a house right here. And inside of that house is a whole bunch of rooms. Okay. And outside of that house are a whole bunch of packages that we need to get through the door of the house and into these rooms of the house. Got it? Okay. So the packages are the sugar. Inside the house, the room are the cells. And we have to make it through the doorway into the cells. That way the cells can get the sugar and the glucose they need for us to live, right? Here's what happens. It's the doorway that's been damaged. That doorway is what is causing the insulin resistance. It's not letting the sugar packages get into the house, into the rooms. So it's floating around in the bloodstream. It's building up. It's going and storing as fat. And that is the problem we have. And so the doorway's broken. Okay. It's not getting in there. It's not telling us we feel full. It's not telling us that our it's just not, the system's broken. Okay. And there's really not a way around that. Okay. So when we go to the next slide, so just hang with me here. Okay. We go to the next slide. You see the bottom of the slide, the cell, that's the inside of the house. Okay. Outside of the cell, that's the little packages. The sugars have to get through there, through that little green thing right there and into the house. What does that green thing look like? It looks like a green pepper. Okay, you guys, I've been talking about green peppers all week. I'm so super like turned or green pepper, but it does. It looks like a green pepper, doesn't it? This is a rotten green pepper. I actually have plastic green peppers coming tomorrow because I have so many rotten green peppers hanging around my office right now. Like people are like, because I'm using them, I have to tell my kids, nobody eat the green peppers. And they're like, they're rotten, Mom. We're promise we won't eat them, right? Okay. So this is the receptor that's damaged. This is the little green pepper. Okay. And so do you see the little at the top? If Holly can take the arrow across the little top, there's these little amino acid pieces. That's GLP-1. You've heard of it. That's what we're talking about. What they know is that when GLP-1 can come up to the green pepper, and putting very simply, when it hits that green pepper, it actually like sends the signal. And here's what happens. It's like unlocking the door to the house and making an instant shuttle in. Okay. That's what the GLP-1 does. It comes, it hits the receptor, and it makes it so all of a sudden the body does what's supposed to. This insulin goes in, or sorry, not the insulin, the sugar can go back through the door. It can go into the cell. We're delivering packages into the rooms. Like it's doing its job. And all of a sudden, you're feeling full. You feel like you don't need to eat as much. There's not so much swaying your blood sugars. You're not craving. It's not storing at fat. Like, do you understand? Like, that's all the things that we want to happen. The body starts to go back to where it should be. And so GLP-1s, you've heard of these synthetics. People are taking the injectables, right? They're taking these injections, they're taking them, and the goal is that they are unlocking the door to the green pepper. All right. So here's the problem. The GLP, the synthetic GLPs, when they land on this green pepper, it's like a bowling ball landing on a bounce house. It's aggressive. It's hard. It's harsh. It lands on there. And you guys, this green pepper is half rotten. So if anything fell on here, it's going to go everywhere, to be quite honest. It's really squishy. Okay. That's the problem. And so it hits other receptors and it causes it's like a mess. It's aggressive. The word is aggressive. And that's why people are getting the side effects, the loss of muscle mass, the issues that they're having. All those side effects are from the aggressiveness of how that synthetic attaches. So the question is, well, how can we not have that aggressiveness? Well, that's where something natural comes in. That's where this comes in, this GLP-3. So the GLP-3 is all natural. It comes from salmon and mushrooms. It's a blend of 267 peptides. They're peptides, just like GLP-1, the synthetic GLP-1, that is a peptide. But this lands gently on the green pepper. I like to think of it like the dock, the space shuttle dock, like it's got to be really precise, right? When it lands on there, but it lands gently like a ping pong ball landing on a green pepper. And when it does, it's the same thing, good things happen. It's the same mechanism of action as the injections. But what happens is it's gentle. So those side effects aren't happening. So you're able to take it orally. It's natural weight loss. It helps reduce all the food cravings. It takes away the food noise. It helps you eat less, all those things because the packages are now getting through the green pepper into the cell. Like we're making it happen. But because there's no side effects, it preserves lean muscle mass. Lean muscle mass is one of the biggest detrimental things to the injections. And it's not just from the fast weight loss, it has to do with the other receptors it hits when it lands so hard. Muscle mass, having good muscle mass is the key to longevity. You want to live a long life, keep your muscle, make muscle. If you want to take years off your life, get rid of your muscle, right? Like literally, there's so much science behind that. And then Dr. Dan, if you're new to three, Dr. Dan Gubler, our formulator, he is absolutely brilliant. We're an absorption company. So if you're like, I never heard of three before coming and hearing about this little bottle, we are a high absorption company, meaning everything we make sure it gets high absorption into the cell so that you can actually use it. Because you can take the greatest ingredient on the planet. If you don't absorb it, it doesn't matter. So everything here is very high absorption, which is why this is working so well. It doesn't get broken down and high absorption. So for weight loss, the studies are showing, the clinical studies that were done on this with this are 3/4 of a dropper 2 times a day, 30 to 45 minutes before a meal. And that 45 minutes matters because you want the concentration to be high before you eat, right? Like you want to avoid as much extra calories as you can, but it's just this, and you just squeeze it out 3/4. It's easy to take. Holly mentioned fasting. She loves fasting. You'll never hear me sign up for fasting. It's not my thing. But it doesn't break a fast. That's one of the top questions we get. It does not break a fast. So people are doing it. So that you see there and you're like, weight loss. Well, that's awesome, Alicia. But is it more than weight loss? It is. Because this goes so beyond weight loss. You hear about people all the time that they're thin, but metabolically they are not healthy. Whether it's type 2 diabetes, inflammation, heart disease, fatty liver, the connection between fatty liver uh, and this issue in metabolic disease is massive. High abdominal fat, that fat at the waistline that just won't go away. High blood pressure, high blood sugars, high cholesterol, insulin resistance, PCOS, brain issues, cognitive health, the hormonal health. This is like the key to the lock. Right? That's right. The terminology is right. So this goes so much beyond weight loss, and people are wanting this beyond just losing weight. They want it for the lowering inflammation and they want to fix their broken green pepper. They're like, if it affects all those things, why wouldn't I feed this on a regular basis if I can do it naturally? It's almost like a multivitamin for your receptor. Does that make sense? So that is our GLP-3. And so I'm excited. We're going to go through some frequently asked questions about it. But I hope that helps you understand because when you really start to think about it, when you go through the science and you know that we have this damage, we know we have this issue, and we know we have it as a society, it's like, well, why aren't we taking something every
Yeah.
single day to support that? We support our cardiovascular health, we support our neurological health, we take supplements for our general health, our brain, like we take these things. This is like a vitamin for your metabolic health when you really look at it that way. So,
Which is everything. And
everything,
it's
everything.
why we're hearing results of better sleep. We're hearing results of I have more energy and I'm actually going to the gym now because I pay for the membership, but I am going now.
Right.
There's a difference. And we're hearing all of these results and health, and addressing visceral fat. So I hope everybody really understands it's so much more than weight loss and look forward to the benefits that come besides the weight loss, the fat loss.
Yeah. Yeah. let's go into some of the FAQs on this because people are sitting there at home writing stuff down, going, "What about this? What about this? Let's see what we can answer." Right. So this is Mother Nature's GLP one. That's what I love about it, that it's so natural. I that's my background is natural health, and so for me and to attach my name to it, not only the science there but the fact that it's natural really aligns for me. It's full of 267 peptides, MBC 267, hence the name, that comes from salmon. It's very clean and a blend of mushrooms. It's really high absorption. That is, I'm not going to go into the science of why it's not broken down, but it is not broken down. If you have questions on it, I can explain it later. How these things you've noticed. So what do you, these less
Yeah.
cravings?
These are just a few. I mean, this could be a whole page worth, like all around the whole page. Obliterate food cravings. So cravings, which is really surprising that you'll find you don't know what you're craving until you stop craving it. So we've heard people talk about chips and salsa. We've heard them talk about wine. We've heard them talk about the Diet Pepsi. We've heard it. For me, it might be a little bit of shopping. And that's not a craving, but it is. It's like and that's more the dopamine hit. And that's a whole nother topic with the cravings. It's really awesome. Dr. Alicia talked about it before. She loves her grape Olipop. And I love Zevia and I haven't had a Zevia. And
Hmm.
you guys, that cuts back on money, like cost of those cravings. And so it's really neat because you don't even have to try. It naturally happens with how the body's responding, dropping the pounds. Yes, lose up to 7% of your body weight in 70 days. We're seeing it quicker. That's actually a very conservative number right there. Very conservative. We're going to underpromise though. We're not going to overpromise. So get your own results and you'll be like, she totally is underpromising. Retain lean muscle mass. This is everything. Everything as we get older, we have to have that's our structure. You're smaller with muscle mass. It looks better. Your posture, like it's health right there.
Right. Well, and Holly, you mentioned that about the feeling like you're done and you're full. Remember being 10 years old and like you'd eat a meal and you'd finish the meal and like you were just done, right? But then somewhere along the way, I'll be 48. Somewhere along the way, I got to be like 40 some years old and like I'd finish my meal and I keep eating it. Like I know I'm done, right? And this stops that. That's what I've noticed. This is stopping that need to continue on and keep eating and eating and eating. Which is, I don't know what it is. It's like vacation eating
Oh,
sometimes all the time, right? So how do you take it? You can't really overdose it. I wouldn't be taking a bottle a day, let's be honest. But Dr. Dan has said, let's say you have your 2 doses in the day, but you're going to something tonight um, and you're like, okay, they're going to have a big buffet. I'm going to this gala. I want to make sure I stay good. Have an extra dose. Like you can do that. We've talked about that 3/4 of a drop or 3 times or twice a day is what the clinical study showed for the weight loss in the study. Do you want to
so
go or do you want me to
yeah.
go?
So does it contain peptides? Yes, it does, and thank goodness it does. We want peptides. It's called MBC 267 Metabolic Boost Complex, naturally found in salmon and mushrooms. Awesome. We're so happy that this came across Dr. Dan's desk and he found them and the partnership there. Are the ingredients in the GLP natural? Absolutely. Again, if you're new to three, you're going to hear that over and over. No synthetic ingredients, flavors, colors, binders, fillers, or maskers. What are the key ingredients? Well, it's the flavonoids from the hops, and it's the saffron, and it's the ginseng. It's an amazing blend. And that's one thing Dr. Dan is an absolute master of is curation, putting the right ratios of certain natural medicinal molecules, these peptides all together, and then having it have a high absorption. And so you'll hear that over and over. Can I take these with my existing pharmaceutical drugs? Well, if you have any pre-existing medical condition, you should consult with your physician if you're before taking this. Absolutely. If you're already doing any type of semaglutide or tirzepatide, then consult with them so you guys can create a plan of where you want to go next with this. How does it compare to the synthetics? Well, it binds to the same exact receptor, except ours is in a gentler fashion and doesn't have those harsh side effects. So this I've heard from people that have wrote me about this asking questions and they'll say, well, I was on this one and the side effects was this. We have an amazing woman nurse on our team out in Pennsylvania and she's like, I've been doing that because I wanted the results and she's in her 50s. She looks awesome. And she said, I am losing my hair. And so we're hearing all the side effects, and some people have them, some don't. And so ours is here with the no harsh side effects. Is it non-GMO? Yes. Are the salmon peptides treated with antibiotics and hormones? No. You got to be really particular when you're looking at your ingredients in supplements. We're very transparent when we talk through these things with you because we want you to know to the extent that Dr. Dan goes when he formulates a product, it's not just any ingredient of any sourcing. It's very meticulous and clean when he puts things together.
Absolutely. And to touch on that, you can stay here, but when they mention hops, and sometimes people are gluten-free or celiac, and so they're like, wait a minute, hops, because they hear hops and they think that it is a gluten-free product. Hops in their natural state do not have gluten. It's as they're processed down through the line to make other things, that's where the gluten comes in. But hops in their natural state are not. So this is a gluten-free product. So this ingredient with the MBC 267, it is absolutely a trade secret. It is 100% something that is patented. It has great effects on blood sugars. You guys, this is huge. When you change people's blood sugars, you literally can change so much. It's like it just changes everything. That study in the clinical study showing a 6% drop in blood sugars in the first 30 to 60 days. We're seeing this with people that wear glucose monitors for their health, just to improve their health. The world assumes that people, once they hit 12, and not just assumes, it is the science, they're technically an adult when you're coming and looking at the supplement world. So these are designed and approved and okay for people that are 12 and up. One of the things we've been hearing, and I would say I agree with this 100%, is that I feel happier after I take this. They are showing a high amount of people having an increase in improvement in endorphins within an hour. So you know it's working quickly, endorphin, and it just lasts. It's very gentle, but it lasts. So there's no omega in here. So yes, you still have to take your Vitalite packet and get your omega-3. This is just peptides. There's no omega in here. And that yellow color that you see is from saffron. So there's no artificial colors or anything like that. I frequently get asked, what's the flavor? It's like an orange mint. I don't taste the mint so much. I think it's more like an orange dreamsicle type flavor, but I take it, I wait under my tongue, I wait 30 seconds, and I drink some water and I go on about my day. I wait a little bit. So these are the clinical studies, and Holly will kind of run the arrow so we can kind of go through here. When you look on the far right are the terzepatides. So you might have heard some of those. So those are things like when we're talking about Mounjaro and those kind of synthetic GLPs. The three next to it, the light pink, the mauve, and the gray, those are semaglutides. And there's some pretty high dosages there. And those are things like when you're talking about Ozempic, right? And so this is how are they hitting the receptor? How is it landing on the green pepper, right? Here's the green pepper. How is it landing? Well, look at this. On the yellow, that is MBC 267, hitting higher than the semaglutides, which is amazing. And it's just at the dosage that we're taking. It's not a high dosage, which is great. So love
Mhm.
that study, and people have been sharing it, and it really just hammers that home. So I'm going to let Holly chat a little bit about the packs and the business part of 3. When I was introduced to this just a few years ago, I didn't know anything about this industry. I came from a background of healthcare where I had to be in a clinic every single day. I'm a chiropractor, so to earn my income, I had to be in an office working with people. And I've been able to replace that here at 3. But when I chose to be a part of this, when I knew the success that she had had in this industry, I wanted to partner with her. And so we are here and building a business, and I'm excited for her to share with you about the packs you have available if you want the product. And then she's going to share a little bit about the business side of 3 and what that could look like if you want to stick around.
Dr. Alicia, would you stick around just for a second to
Oh,
talk about
yes. Yep.
Purify?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's three packages available for enrollment, and these are awesome. What we love about them are the savings at all the levels. And the complete pack has 15 bottles. There's a $346 savings with that. It comes with four free Purify. So that is, people are buying that for the savings. They don't want to run out. They want to have one shipment. They may be sharing it with their significant other. They may be sharing it with their teenager. I mean, we're hearing many people sharing it for various reasons. Maybe their sister may be doing it with them. And then the Advantage pack is nine of those, $186 savings with two free Purify. And then the Essential pack is three bottles for a $25 savings. What we are seeing and what we're experiencing as y'all, this is newer to us too, when we're coaching people through how many bottles they may need a month. And what we're finding with twice a day, it's four bottles. It's four bottles a month when you're doing it two times a day with three-fourths of a dropper. If it's not a weight loss focus, then you would need two to three bottles because you'd be doing it around once a day. You play with that dose. And people ask that with rebounding. I don't know if we covered that.
No, we didn't. Yeah.
There's no rebound with this. People say, when I stop, am I going to gain the weight back? Because they are seeing that with the synthetics. And so there's not, once you know more though about your metabolic health and you're thinking, why wouldn't I support that? Why wouldn't I be taking a vitamin that supports my green pepper? And that's why people would continue with at least one dropper a day.
Right. I mean, the green pepper's taken off. I'm going to get a t-shirt. It's going to say, have you fed your green pepper today?
It is. And so the Purify is one of our detox products that detoxes your liver, lungs, kidneys, colon, and skin. So think about the pollutants that hit our skin. Our skin's our largest organ, and I do not ever miss taking that, ever, ever, ever,
Yeah.
ever. And
Yeah.
so it is packaged with this for a reason. And I'll have Dr. Alicia explain that to you.
Yeah. So imagine driving your car around, and while you're driving your car around, somebody is tossing trash in the gas tank, right? How as well is your car going to run? Well, it's not going to run at its optimum, that's for sure. So what if there was something that you could take to help pull the trash out and clean it? Would your car work better? Yes. That's Purify. So, like Holly said, we are exposed to so many things on a daily basis, from the air we breathe, the toxins on our food, to the lotions we put on our skin. We're inundated with toxins. Well, toxins store up in the body. They store in fat. What are we trying to get rid of? We're trying to get rid of fat. And as it goes out of the body, we want to make sure all those pathways, those detox pathways, are nice and clear. Lung, liver, kidney, colon, skin, when the liver's congested, people don't release fat the way they should. So we want to make sure that we are getting rid of all the excess junk as our body's trying to eliminate it and doing it very well. Um, the great thing about Purify is a wonderful blend of ingredients. It's wonderfully absorbed. It's very gentle. So sometimes when people hear detox, they think, oh, I gotta be in your bathroom. No, you don't. I just love to take one every night before I go to bed. And I know while my body's detoxing, it's doing extra. It's like the extra work. But people will say, I feel like I have less brain fog. I have less puffiness. I'm less bloated. My digestion is better. And that's Purify. That's what it does. You get rid of the toxins, you feel better, right? And so that I love that they've paired it with this. It is the perfect match because in my head, right, when we start talking, anytime you talk about metabolic health and changing it, you have to make sure the detox pathways are clear in that way. So it's a wonderful product.
It is. Thank you so much, Dr. Alicia,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
explaining everything in layman's terms where people can understand really the importance of GLP, of the
Yeah.
receptor, all of it. And for those of you that saw that last slide, when you reach out to the person who invited you to this, reference which pack you want to talk through with them. And you can message them. I mean, most people are messaging and not really talking too much about it because they want to get the order in quick, is what we're finding. And I love to talk about the business side. So I'll share that. I've been in this industry for 17 years. I came out of college with marketing and accounting, and I went straight into the banking world. I worked for the second largest bank in the world, and I did that for 8 years. And I lived that corporate life. And even though I loved my job, I loved the people. I really did. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what I did, and with mortgages and with training and learning and development in HR, it was still that hamster wheel. I was in the hamster wheel. Some of you may be able to relate to being in the hamster wheel. It's just the same thing over and over. And there were times where you'd see a raise of, 3, 4, 5% a year or some bonuses. And then it got really tight in the financial world for me. It was 2008, 2009, where we weren't seeing any raises. And it was like, gosh, we're working harder, but we're not getting paid for it. And I ended up laying people off, and then I got laid off. So I was one out of 8,000 people in a day. It led me to this amazing platform where I was with another company. Initially, I was introduced to a third grade school teacher, and I really learned it. And I will share with you this. I didn't always love what I saw in this space. I didn't always love it, and I didn't let that deter me. I knew what the plan was. I knew what I could do with this with an entrepreneurial spirit. So I share that as an entrepreneurial spirit because we all have that. And I learned from different people, and I decided, you know what? I want to build a team. I want to build a business with respect, with credibility, with integrity, with class. That's what I did. So at my first company, it was amazing success, amazing ride. And, I became not really not congruent with the products that they had anymore. There was changes. You can tell I'm really into sourcing. I'm really into the integrity of the products, and they lost me. And so I had a difficult decision, and I made the decision to exit. And I didn't know if I was going to do this space again. I didn't know if I was going to build teams again. I had no idea. And I had actually said I wasn't. And then here I am. And you know what? It's all the doors open. You have to be open to it. After meeting Daniel Piku and Dr. Dan Gubler and Kim Wee and Samson Lee, the people that we're partnered with, I knew I'm like, this is it. And you know what? It's going to be bigger and better than I've ever dreamt of. And I will tell you that has delivered. We're almost 3 years old, which we're still a baby, like going into that toddler stage. And we have an amazing array of products, really small catalog, which we love, the Simple Six, which we did not talk about tonight. And we do have videos on that. Feel free to ask for those because we love our Simple Six foundational products, the absorption, all of it. When you're talking about gut health and you're reducing inflammation, you're addressing that. And then this product came out. And this product is just taking our world by storm. I have never been a part of a company that's had a hit product like this where there's such a high demand. And it is why we're seeing people come in and join and wanting to link arms and saying, you know what, if this product, I had someone tell me this the other day. She said, if this product works for me, I am going to be shouting it from the rooftops. And I'm like, that's what I said. That's what I said before I came into here. When I looked at this, I'm like, if this really works, I'm going to be shouting it. And that's what I do. I love sharing this. It is absolutely refreshing. I love financial rewards plan, the freedom. Really, it unlocks that, dreaming again. I think so many of us have lost that. We've lost, what if I had, more money in my bank account? What if I had more time to spend time with who I want to spend it with and go where I want to go? And we love unlocking that. So we have people join us really for all levels. We have, new moms. I talked about my niece the other day. She's 30 years old. She has three kids under 3 years old right now. So I am a great aunt. And I talked to her about it. I'm like, Paige, do you realize she's starting this and her husband is too? And it's not necessarily the weight. For her, yeah, she's got some sticky pounds from having 3 kids. Can you imagine? So she has like 15, 20 pounds to release. And I said, if you share your story, imagine how many people want this, want what you have with your success, with what you're going to have on this. And she's like, oh yeah, because she's friends with all these new moms. And I go, how would it look? How would it change for you if you brought in an extra 500 a month, an extra 1,000 a month, an extra 1,500 a month, an extra 3,000 a month, an extra 5,000 a month, an extra 8,000 a month? She's like, that would be amazing because she works full time with 3 kids they're actually under 2 years old, 3 kids under two. And so Vivian's 2.5. So there we go. And so that's what this helps to do is unlock those possibilities, whether it's for, the grandma who wants to spend more time with her grandkids or the moms out there or people who are independent and want to travel more. It's an amazing financial rewards plan, and we love sharing it. So plug in with us if this is something that you're gravitating to. I share this with the times that I've listened to my intuition, my gut, and I've moved on it. I've never regretted it. So think about that for yourself. Is this something where you're moved to it? Then follow what your heart and your gut are telling you. And that's my biggest advice. We're here. We're still going to be here. Whether you join tonight or you want to join in a week or a month or a year, we're here. The sooner that you do get in, of course, you get your products, you get your experience, you get to have your story and link arms with us. Please get back to the person who invited you to this or wherever you saw this. Let them know you were on. Let them know what you like best. Communication's always the best when it comes to decisions like this and people taking the time to invite you. Thank you so much. You all have an amazing night, and we love that you were on and get back to the person. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.